For many, this Memorial Day was a fairly solitary affair. Lockdowns continue in most parts of the country, but not everywhere. Let's check in with Jack's Bar and Grill in the Lake of the Ozarks. Okay, so there you saw a video that has just, I think, like 17 million views over this weekend of just a packed bar and grill. If there was a mask there, I didn't see it. Barely saw any clothing at all. And so, Jordan, thoughts on the festivities continuing?
I really don't know how to express myself in a way that's appropriate for your show, because this clip made me really angry and frustrated all weekend. Because as we were talking about before the show started, when you see things like that and you see people just completely ignoring CDC guidelines and social distancing guidelines and suggestions to wear a mask, things like that, it's not just recklessness. It's also selfishness, because they put others around them in jeopardy as well. It's not just about protecting yourself from this illness. It's about the risk of being an asymptomatic carrier and giving it to other people. So to see people just blatantly disregard all of that to go outside for a weekend, for a holiday that most reasonable people are staying inside for, it demonstrates a level of selfishness, ignorance, and carelessness. But beyond that, there's this level of anger inside me when I see things like that, because people who behave like that are making things worse for everybody else. So this type of social distancing guidelines and quarantining and that kind of stuff to help reduce the curve, it only goes so far. And then when you have people like this gathering in groups when it's still a serious risk, when 100,000 people have died and millions of people around the world have this, and you see people like that go out in large groups, just making it incredibly easy for this virus to continue to spread. I mean, how else are you supposed to feel other than angry?
Yeah, I scared, I guess.
Yeah.
Will the official number, at least on the tracker that I follow, will pass 100,000 while we're filming this episode. And, that's a fact. I understand that a significant portion of the population doesn't believe that. We'll get to that a little bit later on. And certainly the actual number is significantly higher. But it's super serious. And on one level, like when you see one person without a mask, like coughing on shopkeepers or something like that are wearing masks, it's like, well, Jesus, that's an assault. It's like, I mean, all those people know that they're endangering themselves. So it seems consensual. Of course, the thing is that they will then redistribute all over the region and potentially give it to other people, because I'm going to guess, I could be wrong, and I don't know those people, I am not a psychic, that people who go to a party like that and don't wear masks probably are not the most diligent in the rest of their days as they're traveling around, going to stores, walking around, and all of that. And that's what's so scary. I want to give you a little bit of information about the event, and we do have more on this. So, little shot of the promotional photos put out on Instagram of the party. Lots of people having fun. It was a Zero Ducks Given party. Advertised on Facebook, had 1,600 responses. Now, they did post a list of the precautions they were taking, that they were going to do non-contact temperature scanning, and they were going to make hand sanitizer available. But the fact that nobody's wearing a mask and that they called it a Zero Ducks Given party makes me think that those are for plausible deniability rather than a serious concern about the transmission of illness. That would be my guess.
Right. I mean, and from what we understand about asymptomatic carriers, that might not be enough. So someone could have it, not know they have it. And like you said, like just a few minutes ago, that people who attend this are likely going to be not very cautious in their other activities. So that asymptomatic risk, it greatly spikes. So we'll see as time progresses. But as we saw with the reopen protests in Michigan, it spread. People didn't know they had it. They brought it to that protest and spread, and people got sick. So we'll see as this goes. But not looking great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is the video that's been spread the most, but I'm sure you've seen boardwalk scenes and things like that, beaches full of people. We're going to have a little bit more of that too. And as I see that, I just think, God, I hope that we defy the odds, like that effectively a miracle happens, and that despite the fact that there's a chunk of the population that is acting in this way, that we won't have the second spike. It seems impossible to believe, but the numbers are trending down. Maybe we'll get lucky, maybe we'll, as a country, we'll get a royal flush on this. We're taking our chances. Maybe that'll happen. And despite all of this irresponsibility, nothing bad will happen. Because I try to remember, and by the way, I'm going to read one more quote from that party that's going to frustrate you, but I try to remember that while we see these events like this, the protests or the party, we know from polls that most people still are taking this seriously, and that most people, even if their states open up, are not going to rush out. And if they do, they will social distance and they will wear masks. So I try to remember that these are the outliers, that most people are being responsible, and that needs to be baked into our understanding of the likelihood of a second spike and all of that. But it's hard to be optimistic when you're looking at stuff like this.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say. I expressed before the show how frustrated I was with that, because people who, like you and I and your viewers and others that we know, who are taking it seriously, who are staying inside, who are wearing a mask, who are taking every precaution necessary to do our part to help prevent the spread of this disease, and this virus, and to flatten the curve, like our efforts are undercut by the selfishness of people like this. So it's frustrating because it's not easy, it's not fun to be stuck inside for weeks on end, to not be able to go and see your friends and family,
100%.
to not go outside, just for like a walk without feeling concerned about you putting yourself at risk or others at risk, things like that. I mean, it's even like mild forms of entertainment, like going to see a movie or going out to grab a bite to eat with friends. Like, you can't do that right now. But these people are putting themselves before not just the rest of the country, but the rest of the world, because they're insanely selfish. So I'm not sure how to feel other than frustrated with these people.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so if you're frustrated now, let me read you one quote. This is from a pool party attendee, Tyler Crancer, who said, "I felt fine and feel fine now. It was a little crowded and the bartenders were absolutely slammed. Now that I think about it, probably not a great idea, but there is no law when you're drinking the Claw," referring to White Claw, the popular hard seltzer. I mean, the guy's got a point. You are not bound by the laws of gods or men while drinking what amounts to hand sanitizer diluted slightly. What could affect you when your body has been scoured by the Claw?
That's true. Yeah, science has shown that if you're drinking the Claw, your antibodies just skyrocket. You're exactly fine.
And by the way, I saw the funniest news to come out about this story was that I saw as of, I think it was this morning or maybe yesterday, the St. Louis County Department of Public Health advised everyone at the party to self-quarantine. They're not going to do that. They were at the party. Oh, they're going to be like, you know what? That does sound like the responsible thing to do. Good luck.
Yeah, going from the no ducks given party to self-quarantining. That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah. Once your ducks are gone, you don't get them back. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.